What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams. As always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? And Levon, unfortunately, couldn't make it this week, but he should be back next week. We've been gone for a week. Is it a week or 2 weeks? I think we've been gone for a week.
I think it's 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks?
I think it's 2 weeks, yeah.
It's been a little while. But definitely start to tune back in. Our topics are Monday and Tuesday. We have a Wednesday weekly discussion. No Ask Assist P this Thursday, but I'm trying to get one in for next week or maybe the week after. Well, I'll be talking to a self-proclaimed script kiddie who does pen testing. So ask him some questions. And then Friday, of course, we talk about everything else, movies, games, books, all that stuff. So we have a lot to cover on this Friday since we're gone for so long, right? But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. This one actually hits a little close to home, right? So it's from krdo.com, and it's written by Jordan Good, and it's called Colorado Springs Utilities Experiences Data Breach, Customer Data Compromise. So I do actually reside near Colorado Springs. I'm not served by this utility company, but what ended up happening was they had a security breach back in June, actually, June 15th, 2022, and they were letting all their customers know about it, that hey, there was some information that was snatched. It included customer names, addresses, account numbers, and in most cases phone numbers and email addresses. And actually this was another vendor that serviced the Colorado Springs utilities, but it wasn't actually Colorado Springs utilities themselves. But yeah, they had a security breach, and everyone that was impacted by the breach is going to receive a letter in the mail, which it wouldn't be me, right? Because like I said, I wasn't serviced by them. But this is one of those things that we're seeing all the time now, right? Like, so these are rich targets when it comes to these utility companies, our oil companies, our meat manufacturers, and they're just reaching out to get these target rich companies that have all this sensitive information. Now, again, in this case, they did not get any of that sensitive information like credit card numbers or anything like that, social security numbers. They assure us that stuff was safe, right? But it could come out later that they're like, upon further investigation, you know what I mean? Like, this is what happened. So it's just one of those things where anybody that's serviced by Colorado Springs utilities, they're going to get a letter in the mail if they were affected, and they put something out there about, if you get some type of email or a call or anything like that, like it's not us, right? Like, we're not reaching out to you like that. They're going to send a letter. Don't respond to any emails, you know what I mean? Because that's the information that they got. Don't click on any links, right? Like the same type of stuff that everyone should be aware of, right? Because like, you'll get these emails that have these links in it, and you got to hover over the links to make sure they're what they say they are, you know what I mean? But for the most part, a lot of these companies will tell you just go directly to their websites, right? That almost all of them have secure websites now, right? Like almost every website you should be going to should be HTTPS, you know what I mean, to make sure it's secure. But yeah, it's just one of those things, man. It seems like every time we get on here, some type of utility or something that we all know and love, like our gasoline and food, that gets breached, right? But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it is the same song and dance. I guess the most important part is the smishing and the email attacks that are going to come out of it, right? Like, people are going to get text messages from the utility company or just in general. Like, I've noticed recently, T-Mobile, I've been getting high text messages, just random numbers, like hi. Like, that's the gateway. When you interact, and then now they're sending you links. They're trying to, ask you for personal information. So it's got to be careful. Like, I feel bad for the older community, because then they're going to get phone calls and text messages, not even to say, hey, we're the utility company. It could be anything now. Like, they just have your information, so they can call you and say your warranty is expired, yada yada yada. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It's not always third parties, right? Sometimes it's the actual company that lose the information. So like, sometimes it's like, not to keep beating up T-Mobile, but T-Mobile proper, lose your information. But in this case, it was a third party, so probably see some lawsuits coming out of it. Probably they may lose a contract. Just really depends on how aggressive these attacks happen, how egregious data loss was, because they're not always truthful. Like they may have lost credit card numbers and addresses and stuff like that. It just like how do we first figure out what we lost, and then how do we tell the public that their stuff is gone? So
You know, you
it's
bring
definitely unfortunate.
you,
Hmm?
oh, my bad, man. You bring up a like when you bring up the elderly people, right, and how they'll more than likely to fall for it. That's a good point, right? So like, how do we reach out to them, right? And it's like, what's something that you usually see? And I hate for any of our viewers that do this. I'm sorry if you fall in this category and you're not old, but like, it's like, how do you reach out to the older people and kind of educate them to these things? And maybe it's a matter of advertising and like newspapers, you know what I mean? Like physical newspapers that
Right.
people still take, maybe on the local news, right? Because they watch a lot of local news,
Yeah, I
like
was gonna say, yeah, the local news, or even Fox and CNN, like the bigger companies, because I mean they sell them gold, right? Other
yeah.
stuff.
Like how do you reach out to them, because that's a constant thing, right? Like you brought up a good point. Like they are the environment, they are the what am I trying to say, like the customer base, you know what I mean, that
Yeah,
they try to go after.
they're the softest target
Yeah, there you
out
go.
of everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to find a way to do better by our elderly, man. We got to respect our elderly. So
Right, right. So hopefully it's not as bad as we think it is. But again, and I don't know the demographics of that area. Like, is there an older community that's there, right? Like, and we did a story, I would say earlier in the year or maybe late last year, where it's not always just the elderly community. Sometimes it's the urban communities as well. They're just not as well versed in data privacy as others, based upon socioeconomic status, or just the education they receive, things of that nature. Like they have technology, they're just not as tech savvy as some of their peers. So there's that as well. But I mean, that in those cases, that's a campaign on TikTok or some other social media platform, right? Because people get their doses of information in 30 seconds or less from whatever social media platform happens to be their favorite, which seems to be TikTok, which is also gathering our data. It's kind of scary. So it's very Orwellian out here, man. It's 1984, and all happening at once. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. But with that being said, I'll go ahead and land this plane. So definitely continue to tune in. Tomorrow's topic has to deal with a Saudi Arabian and U.S. Memorandum of understanding, like when it comes to cybersecurity protection. So that want to be a good one. Wednesday, we will discuss a hacking group that actually performed a kinetic attack in Iran. So they actually set a fire uh, through cyberspace. So that's definitely interesting discussion that we'll have. And then Friday, like we got a lot to cover. Like I've been watching the Star Wars. We got Miss Marvel, all that stuff. So definitely tune in for that. Hit up all of our social medias. They go by our name. And then like, share, subscribe. Definitely like, share, and subscribe. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. There it is. And then Levon Maynard is Levon Maynard on Twitter. So stay safe, stay secure.